Boy, I don't even know if I was ready to start, and I just hit start streaming. I think it's going to kick on here in a second. Volume should be good. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew, and this is Ugly Review for May 5th, 2024. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It is 6:05 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is Sunday. And welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How's your weekend going? Hope it's great. My weekend's going swell. Didn't sleep great last night, but oh well. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to start as we always do. Now we do. I don't know if this will be a common thing moving forward, but whatever. With the Disney stock price, check out the Disney stock price here. Back in, so we want to follow it from the time of the shareholders meeting, which was April 3rd. So here's April 2nd, right? 122.82. And I think it actually hit a peak of 123, but I can't really get the graph on it right now. So there's $122.82 April 2nd. They have the shareholders meeting April 3rd. It goes down to 118 and has continued to plummet and closed, market closed this past Friday, May 3rd at $113.66. Yeah, and so not good. Not good. And now remember, this is what the shareholders voted for. This is what the shareholders voted for. Disney had been losing money, and the shareholders voted for the status quo. So they voted to keep losing money. So, hey man, get what you ask for. Get what you fucking deserve. So, part of why Disney is losing money is shit like this. This is the Mufasa trailer. Let me move this over a little bit. This is the Mufasa trailer. We're going to watch this, and I don't think I can play any of this with sound because I think it's just all copyright Disney music. I think that's the whole thing. I've watched this once as I was watching, I think it was Geeks and Gamers Daily. That's where I saw it the first time. But we're going to watch this, and I don't know. Let's just, we'll go from there. Well, let's check out the ratio first. So it's got 127,000 upvotes. And it has 307,000 downvotes. Now, I think they actually are pulling some shenanigans here because I actually think this was at like 650,000 just a few days ago. And we know that YouTube has removed dislikes from things like Rings of Power and The Little Mermaid and whatnot. So I believe there's some shenanigans going on here. 6.8 million views. 6.8 million views. They are not getting a lot of interaction on this. And they've turned the comments off. So that tells you everything you need to know. So we can't even enjoy the beautiful, beautiful comments, smart-ass comment section. It's the only reason anyone came to this fucking trailer, is to look at the comment section and to hit dislike. But let's watch it. Let's see what the fuck what we're working with here. I'll try it with the sound. If it's all music, I'll have to. Yeah, right off the fucking bat. Maybe I can do that the whole time.
This story begins far beyond the mountains and the shadows. On the other side of the light.
Oh, shit.
Lion was born without a drop of nobility in his blood.
Okay, get music.
Who would change our lives forever. Mufasa.
So, okay, so hold on a second. They're saying that Mufasa didn't come from royal blood? So he wasn't... Okay, so this is going to be a story, an origin story for how Mufasa became king. Okay? Listen to this soulless shit music. Listen to this crap. Look at the screen. Look at this CGI. Look how much crap this is. You guys can't see the whole thing. I've got this. Here, actually, you know what?
Will shake.
Okay, that's better, because now you can see the whole thing. But I'm sorry, I haven't. All right. This is crap. Hold on. Where did that one pause screen go? First of all, the music is crap. Hold on. Where's that scene?
The earth will
This looks like shit. The music, it's this... The original Lion King soundtrack, the original score, the Elton John, the everything, is one of the most memorable and best-selling soundtracks of all time. Everybody knows the songs, right? Circle of Life, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, fucking Hakuna Matata. Everybody knows these songs. Everyone. And it sounds like what they did, they took it and they butchered it and added these, like this wannabe Hans Zimmer, you know, the low drums and the strings, the tension building strings, and then the horns and everything. They're really focusing on the drums and the strings in this one. Updated for modern tension, I guess. Modern sensibilities. And this looks like shit.
shake. Destiny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The earth will shake. Destiny. Shake. Destiny.
Oh my
Awaits
god.
you.
Dude. All right. Oh, blah, blah. Who's in this? Oh, and first of all, can we take a note of who's in this? There's Seth Rogen, right, of Santa Inc. fame, and Billy Eichner of Bros fame. I don't know who any of these other people are. Oh, there's Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen is good. Oh, Mads Mikkelsen, I hope you're getting paid $50 million to be in this piece of crap. This looks so fucking bad. Now, the one that came out, like 4 years ago, 5 years, or no, longer than that. The one that was directed by Jon Favreau. The live action, that made $1.6 billion. So it's not difficult to think why they would make this, but it's like, the original Lion King animation is so great. The actual animation itself. This is shit. This is half-assed CGI. It was probably rushed. It was probably finished. Most of it was probably done by some art house in China or something like that. It's soulless. It's a money grab. It's a cash grab. There's no passion behind this. Someone pointed out, I can't remember who said this, the emotions that you see in the original Lion King, they can give all of the animals like human faces, human eyes, human expression because it's an animation and it works, right? You can get away with it because it's a cartoon, right? You can't really get away with it when you're trying to do like live action, photorealistic animals, photorealistic stuff. It gets to this kind of creepy, uncanny valley thing where if you see kind of like this human expression on, say, a real animal, your brain just does not compute. Your brain's like, what the fuck? So they can't really do it in this movie. So it's just watching like a bunch of National Geographic poorly animated National Geographic animals just run around and talk. With bad music and probably a terrible story and Seth Rogen. So why would you watch this? So then after watching this, it's not hard to understand why Disney's losing money, right? If this is the kind of shit they make, it's not hard to understand why they're losing money. Excuse me. And I know it's fair. God, 1994 was The Lion King. The 90s, I do believe the 90s and early 2000s was all peak cinema. I think that was peak cinema. I think that was it. That's not really like a hot take or anything. I don't know. Probably a lot of people who would agree with me on that. I forgot what I was saying. I really did. Shit. Anyway. Something about Disney. Fuck it. Disney. Man, it's just so... It's sad, but it's also to the point where we're all just kind of... Oh, well... I know what I was going to say. It is unfair, right, to just say that a movie is outright shit without first seeing the movie, right? I mean, I wouldn't give a review on a movie without first seeing the movie, but I think that we can all safely assume, based on Disney's recent track record over the past 5 years, what's going to happen, what this is going to be like. It's not going out on a limb, is it? This is crap. So another reason that Disney is losing money and it's a bunch of crap. The Marvels was confirmed as the biggest box office bomb of 2023, and widely panned sequel resulted in $237 million loss for Disney. Now, this is on May 3rd by Spencer Bakuli. This is bounding into comics. To the surprise of absolutely no one, save the most diehard and delusional of the franchise's dwindling fan base, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most recent entry, The Marvels, has been revealed to have been not only the worst performing film of 2023, but also a more than $200 million sinkhole U.S. for the already financially embattered Disney. And now think about it. This one lost $200 million, right? And they probably spent about $300 million on this. You think about all the other $300 million. Like, think about Indiana Jones. We know they spent $300 million that they told us. It would not surprise me one bit if they spent $400 million on Indiana Jones. Like, just the production budget. It would not surprise me one bit. They had some on location. They had a bunch of CGI. They had to spend a lot of money de-aging Harrison Ford. They had to pay Harrison Ford a lot of money. And that movie was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or some shit. It was 2.5 hours. What a fucking piece of shit movie. What a terrible film. But I bet that movie lost them like $300 million. And that's two films that probably lost them $500 million. This confirmation of the Marvel sequel's crash landing was provided by Deadline's Anthony D'Alessandro as part of their most valuable blockbuster tournament, an annual feature wherein the outlet compares the financial results of the previous year's cinematic releases as relayed to them by seasoned and trusted sources, to see which film was best performing among audiences. Excuse me. Darben, look at that. I'm so happy I didn't see that movie. Sadly for Disney, in confirmation of just how far their quality has fallen, of the 15 films released by the House of Mouse and its subsidiaries, here we go. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Chevalier, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Little Mermaid, The Boogeyman, Elemental, Indiana Jones, Theater Camp, Haunted Mansion, Haunting in Venice, The Creator, The Marvels, Next Goal Wins, Wish, Poor Things, and though they also released an indie film, All of Us Strangers, it was only given a limited theatrical screening in just 4 theaters, and thus is not being formally counted, yes. Only one of them managed to place in the tournament's top 10, with the third and final outing for James Gunn's take on Marvel's Band of Space Heroes / Bounty Hunters coming in 9th most profitable film of the year. I think that made... was like 800 million. Meanwhile, 4 of the above releases ended up placing in the tournament's bottom 5: The Haunted Mansion, Wish, Indiana Jones, Warner Brothers Discovery's The Flash, and The Marvels, walking away from the competition as the worst performing films of the year. God, The Flash too, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I was just thinking when I was reading that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was the 9th most profitable film of the year. They, you know they want those billion-dollar films, right? You know they don't consider it a real success unless they make $1 billion. They got spoiled. They got spoiled on that MCU Phase 2 and 3. They're a long way from that shit. To this end, while previous box office reports have confirmed that The Marvels was an absolute disaster for the studio, its theatrical run was the lowest performing of the entire franchise. It was not until Deadline spoke to their aforementioned sources that the true extent of this film's failure was truly known. Per Deadline, The Marvels pulled in a total of $218 million in revenue, with roughly $88 million of this pull coming from its theatrical ticket sales, a total reach after subtracting theater fees from its $206.1 million worldwide gross, $40 million from its home video sales, and God, it sold enough home DVDs and Blu-rays and shit to make $40 million. Wow. And $90 million from its various streaming releases. That's surprising too. However, well, 90, okay, so 206, okay, so it made $88 million from its theatrical ticket. That's what it brought in after theaters and stuff. So it actually made more, about $2 million more on streaming. Okay. However, after expenses and whatnot. However, in light of its expenses amounting to $455 million, $270 million from reported production cost, $110 million from print and advertising spending, that's probably, that has to be low. Usually the rule of thumb is that you spend just as much on advertising as you do production. And they said 110, that's low. $21 million from residuals and other distribution expenses, and $54 million from interest and overhead. The film ultimately cost the studio a net total of $237 million. I bet that's not right. I bet it's more like 300 some odd million. As for the other Disney films on Deadline's bottom 5, Haunted Mansion reportedly lost the company $117 million. Wish said goodbye to $131 million, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny burned an impressive $143 million. And I think that's low, but let's just take here, I'll do it on screen just so I'm let's is it 237 plus 117 plus 131 plus 143? So this all lost them $628 million. And I bet that's low. I bet it's closer to like $800 million total for all these films. Because I think that's way low on The Marvels and Dial of Destiny. Suffice to say, unless a significant creative reboot is undertaken throughout all of Disney's studios, the House of Mouse is unlikely to pull themselves out of this significant monetary hole anytime soon. Well, how likely do you think that is? Because as I opened the stream by going over Disney stock, and a reminder that the shareholders all voted for this shit again. Right? What was Disney doing? They were losing money. They've been losing money. What did the shareholders do? They voted for people who have been losing money. So what do you think is going to happen? You're going to lose money. Like, what did you think? If that's all they've been doing for the past few years, the past 4 or 5 years, is losing money, what makes you think they're going to turn it around? It's really surprising because in big business, with boardrooms and CEOs and bottom lines and everything like that, you can, I mean, a CEO can be gone in months if things turn sour, right? If things go south, a CEO can be gone in months, right? They don't get a big opportunity to turn things around. And these shareholders just continue to vote for this shit. Same board, same everything. I can't feel sorry for any of these people. Unfortunately, given the recent rumors that Marvel's upcoming X-Men reboot will focus on the team's female members and that their Fantastic Four outing will gender swap the Silver Surfer, that's already verified, it looks like Disney is going to be on its financial back foot for the foreseeable future. Yes. What? Hold on a second. Okay, I did not see the Marvels, so I didn't know, I had no idea this scene was in it. There was a character in the Marvels named Binary. Like, they just don't give a fuck. They're not even trying. So it's not surprising that Disney continues to lose money. The stock keeps going down. And this also does not help. We got to look at Captain America 4, brave new stunning and brave man, or whatever the fuck it is. The MCU's new Falcon suit leaked in all its glory. So, and I continue to say that I hate this so much because I really liked Anthony Mackie as Falcon. I really did. Captain America Brave New World, the newest installment of Captain America's adventures, now under the mantle of Sam Wilson after the events of Endgame and his own series Falcon and the Winter Soldier, will introduce us to new characters never before seen in the MCU. Among them, General Ross's Red Hulk, which is, now played by Harrison Ford, or the new Falcon, a role vacated after Anthony Mackie's new role in the MCU. Now, after the first leaks, we have our first clear look at the Falcon's new suit, and it's more comic book than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. There's the first artistic interpretation, representation of the newest Falcon Man from Brave New World or New World Order or Stunning and Brave Man or whatever the fuck. There it is. Soak it in. Drink it up. That's it. Aren't you happy we're here? This is the new Falcon by Joaquin Torres. So, after taking Cap's shield in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson left Falcon's position vacant until now. As hinted at in the Disney Plus fiction, that's a very odd choice of words. That they just it's a fiction. No fucking shit. Why did you choose that word? As hinted at in the Disney Plus fiction, I don't think anyone was coming here thinking that you were making a documentary. Are you saying it's a fiction because it goes against canon? Or, never mind. Sam's colleague, Joaquin Torres, had all the cards to take over as Cap's faithful squire. So much so that in Captain America Brave New World, the character played by Danny Ramirez will play the role of the new Falcon just as he did in the Marvel Comics. And how could it be otherwise? This new version of Falcon will also release his own suit, whose live-action adaptation promises to be very faithful to that of the comics, as we can see in the new promotional arts of the character leaked by McDonald's as part of the upcoming advertising campaign. I don't know how faithful it can be when you got rid of Captain America. As you can see in the leaked images, the new Falcon will opt for greenish and orange tones, as in the comics, as well as a suit with much of the torso covered in armor plates, a helmet with a wedge visor, as if it were the head of a hawk, and metal wings, all to propel Joaquin Torres through the air at full speed. I love how they have to really, really dumb it down for people who really may not understand what the fuck they're looking at. Well, this now looks like more like the original Captain America suit, that's for sure. This image just looks really poorly put together. It looks like it came off of a cereal box or something. Or it's this looks like the image that would be on the box for the costume that you would buy of this outfit. Right? Like after, because you know they're going to make a costume for this. Hasbro probably signed a $4 billion contract, and it's just going to go to a landfill. This looks like the image that would go on the box for the costume. We also get a new look at Sam Wilson's new Captain America suit, which features the shield inherited from Steve Rogers himself. The movie Captain America: Brave New Stunning and Brave Man, which will be released on Valentine's Day of 2025. Well, the missus will be happy. She'll be happy to know that we get to... I took her to Madame Web on Valentine's Day this year. And now she'll get to... man, I bet she's happy she married me. Jesus Christ. So why else would Disney be losing money? Well, there's a situation. I can't get this whole one. Walt Disney World cast members express support but concern over the evil queen situation. Okay. So this will describe, so let's just get into it. Okay. This is on thatparkplace.com. And this is, I believe, this is WDW Pro. This is April 28th of 2024. The following article makes no claim as to gender identities, gender claims, sex claims, as well as spends considerable effort to protect the identities of vulnerable Disney World cast members who could lose their jobs by speaking out. And they're going to put a little bit of context in here because they've been covering this, so it's not just jumping right in. You'll hear it. In the past week, That Park Place covered the situation in which a family reached out to say they had encountered an unexpected surprise at a character dining experience at Walt Disney World. According to the family, when they went to meet the evil queen from Snow White, the father had the strong suspicion the biologically female character was being played by a biological male. This was due to the father's perception that the character was not traditionally accurate in either height or vocal tone. According to the resources and contacts we reach out to, the evil queen role has a typical maximum height of only 5'10". Here's the text. Let's watch this little video of this evil queen.
You are my favorite evil queen. Oh my god.
I'm also my favorite. We have so much in common.
You are my favorite evil queen. Oh my god.
I'm also my favorite. We have so much in common.
That's not great audio or anything. I mean, it's a deep voice. It certainly doesn't sound like a woman's voice. As of publication, the video post on X have received more than 5 million views and thousands of replies. A significant portion of those replies seem to be very similar, which gives us some pause as to the organic nature of the response. Yeah, okay. While the responses have been overwhelmingly positive towards a biological male playing the evil queen, a huge number of replies talk about Shakespeare or a false story about men playing Tinkerbell. It could be that this is concerted effort given the hundreds of individuals who suddenly seem to have been inspired to write almost the exact same response over and over and over. That's not shocking. That said, it's still a tremendously well-viewed post, even if it doesn't seem to have been discovered yet by the widest spectrum of demographics. As a part of our coverage, we discovered someone who seemed to have knowledge of the situation at Walt Disney World, as well as history of being cast member per their post history on X going back years. Over the weekend, we received information from a cast member at Walt Disney World who claimed that the performer playing the evil queen at Walt Disney World's Artist Point, located in Wilderness Lodge, was a trans icon. Following this statement, along with some implication that the cast member might know the person who plays the evil queen, we reached out publicly for comment. Okay, so this is going to go into the person that they spoke with. Looks like it's a little bit longer, but I just wanted to point out the issue that one would have here. Disney World can hire whoever they want. Okay? Disney can hire whoever they want. Right? I'm fine with that. But just be honest about it, right? If you're going to tell me, if I'm going to pay thousands of dollars to take my children, my young children to Disney World, right? If let's say I've got a daughter and I take them to Disney World, I take her to Disney World, and she loves Snow White, and she loves the movie, she loves the character, she loves everything. She wants to meet the evil queen, right? She's not really scared of the evil queen. She's like, oh, there's the evil queen. I want to meet the evil queen. And it turns out that it's a man, and Disney doesn't tell you this, right? If you want it to be a man, that's fine, but you need to tell people that. Because if my daughter notices something is off, she's like, oh, Daddy, that's not the evil queen. Something's different. Then what do I have to explain to my daughter? Right? And this is why this shit comes up all the fucking time. Because the fact that you weren't honest about it and you did it, I'm sure, intentionally. Well, we know Disney does it intentionally, right? Because they want to force diversity and inclusion and equity, blah, blah, blah. In a situation that is geared towards children, if Disney were an 18 and up park, who gives a shit? But when you have something that's geared towards children, that's the entire issue. It's been the issue with all of this stuff. All of it. All of it. And you know they didn't want people to find out about this. They don't want people talking about this. No, absolutely not. If they did, they would have been honest about it. Okay. So let's get... Pleasantly, the Walt Disney World cast member agreed to our request to speak, and the following is the full unedited conversation. Okay. So I guess we'll get into it. Pro, hello there. We were wondering if you'd be interested in providing a comment or interview on the Evil Queen situation. We'd love to present your viewpoint in a fair way. Let me know if you'd be willing. Cast member, hi, I appreciate you reaching out. I'd be willing to comment and answer as long as the questions are ones I'm actually allowed to answer. As we all know, how airtight Disney is with confidential information. I don't want to risk the safety or privacy of my coworker, nor do I want to risk either of us potentially losing our careers over people throwing a fuss. Pro, do you want to fashion your own statement that you think is safe as possible? Then I could ask you questions and you could let me know if they're okay. We will give your comments in full without censorship. Cast member, the only thing I personally feel safe saying as a statement is that inclusion is a key for a reason. It's the newest key the company has introduced. Inclusions means everyone belongs, guests and cast members alike. No matter who you are, no matter how you identify, if you're cisgendered, trans, or non-binary, you can be a performer, especially a lookalike one. Pro, we'd definitely be happy to include that statement. Follow-up question, at Disney parks, cast members who are friends of the face characters are supposed to look like the characters. In addition, those who interact with guests should have matching mannerisms and vocal likeness. So this must be a Disney requirement, I'm guessing. Your coworker in the video appears to be quite tall and has a voice that some might feel is different than the character. Do you feel these differences should be allowed for trans persons playing Disney characters' roles in an effect to be more inclusive? Excuse me. Cast members. So that was really baiting. So I'm going to keep this short, and this will be the end of the conversation. Casting liked them enough to give them the role. That's what matters the most. I'm not going to be comfortable answering anything else. The initial post you did felt like it's targeting hate toward them, and they just love doing their job and making guests happy and performing. Just let people live their lives and work their job, man. I hope you find it in your heart to be accepting of people no matter who they are or how they identify. Have a good night. Perhaps even more intriguing than this cast member's response to the Evil Queen situation, however, were the responses of two young women who work at Walt Disney World and play the roles of face characters that interact with guests in meet and greet situations. We're very carefully protecting their identities and details of their jobs, as revealing details of playing a princess can quickly end your job at a Disney park. Their thoughts were conveyed by an intermediary. One of the young women reiterated that they had a very strict set of guidelines that have to be followed. She was careful that I not name the character she plays, even though I guessed it. Another young woman was less visibly concerned and confirms she portrays other characters in the park beyond her main role. Each performer has been able to fit the specific costume, so the physical guidelines are quite important. Each costume has a range of height and weight specifications. Altering a costume in a major way is not possible. Guests expect the characters to have a uniform look. Cast members who play main characters like Snow White or Cinderella can lose the ability to play that character if they don't keep a certain set of parameters. So what happens if you get one of these, tiny women to play one of these princesses and she starts getting fat? And then you say, well, you don't meet the parameters anymore. You're going to fire her? And then she's going to sue you? And then what? And then what do you do, Disney? You're not going to do that. This is crap. I asked both of them about the evil queen situation in Walt Disney World, and there were definite signs of being conflicted. Both are happy for the performer because it takes an enormous amount of work. The competition for the main characters is intense. This is the other thing, right? You're putting this person around kids without telling them who it is. And it's a female role, right? So there's two things here. You're not being honest with parents that may not want their kids around people like that because they haven't had the conversation with their kids or whatever reason. It's up to the parents who are paying you thousands of dollars. And then you have a job that should be played by a woman. Don't you think? Disney? Whatever happened to that lawsuit that Disney had? They were getting sued by like 9,000 women. I spoke about that earlier in the year because it got filed at the end of last year. Wonder how that's going. Fuck it. Let's see, where were we? Both are happy for the performer because it takes an enormous amount of work. The competition for the main characters is intense. There was more than just fitting into the costumes and showing up for work on time. After a few more minutes of conversation, it was clear that what happened in Walt Disney World will happen in Disneyland. There are cast members pushing for it right now. I asked if they could bring their concerns to human resources in private. Both confirmed they can, but it's not advisable. Human resources, let me tell you something. Human resources is not there for the employee. Human resources is there to protect the company. Human resources is there to keep you quiet, to protect the company, to make sure that everything gets swept under the rug and nobody hears about it. And hey, let's take care of this behind the scenes, okay? We don't need to make a bunch of noise. No. That didn't happen. No one needs to know about that. Don't worry about it. Nope. And if you're going to be too much of a problem, they'll just get rid of you. And you better believe they will. Human resource. If something happens at work, don't you dare go to human resources. Don't you dare. You go to an attorney. Don't even tell anyone something happened. I'm getting off on a diatribe here about HR. I can't fucking stand HR. It's the bane of capitalism. It really is in a lot of ways. Seriously, if something happens at work, don't tell a soul. Go to an attorney. And that's that. You know when there is more going on. I would equate their feelings to Riley Gaines. I believe both are sincere in their support of a fellow cast member. However, it is clear that losing a female main character to a male performer hurts and creates additional barriers. And that's the other thing. This trans person, right, who is playing the evil queen, they may be a wonderful person. I have no idea. They may be a wonderful human being, and if they're 18 up, and this person is, do whatever you want. I honestly don't care. I really don't. And I hope that person, regardless of who they are or what they believe, I hope they're happy and healthy. I hope they'll have a good life and they're fine and everything. But, what I was getting at is that person was just taking a job, right? And maybe that person, regardless of their now gender, maybe that person has always dreamt about being that character for whatever reason. So I wouldn't begrudge them for taking a job. I get it. But when you signal and virtue signal and signal and virtue signal and signal and signal and tell us all this woke crap, Disney, and then tell us you're going to run away from it and that you're not going to get political and that you're not going to be ideological, and then you're ideological and you say, oh, I believe all women, support all women, oh, but we're not going to give women jobs that should belong to women, and you're not going to tell parents about things like this. Why? And then you wonder why you're losing money. And here's another reason. And I think this is the last thing about Disney. Yes, I'm pretty sure. But here's another reason. Exclusive, and this is that Park Place again. They just do great work, man. They just report on everything, and they do wonderful work. This is WDW Pro, May 2nd, 2024. Exclusive. The Walt Disney Company's RISE program grants money to filmmakers based on religious beliefs. Now, I don't know, we'll get into it, obviously, but I don't know how against federal law and regulation this is. Personally, I think that private companies should be able to discriminate however they see fit. I really do. If Disney wants to do all this stuff, I don't care if they're doing it. I really don't. If they're a private company, I don't want the government being able to tell them what they can or can't do. I just want to know the truth. I just want them to be honest about all this stuff so that people, as consumers, can make an informed decision, right? And that's why they try to hide stuff. That's why they try to hide. That's why they have a hidden agenda in their children's programming that they admitted to. Well, they admitted to on a behind-the-scenes Skype call. They don't tell you about it because they know if more people knew the truth about what they were doing, people would run. Well, people are running. We just had a conversation about how much money they lost at the cinema last year. People don't want anything to do with this company anymore. Nothing. And it's just, I say it a million times, it's just more Marxism because they're trying to hide their agenda. And then when you call them out for their hidden crazy agenda, they call you a bigot. And then they go, you're a bigot? And you're like, no, you just make a terrible thing. You're a bigot. Give me your money, you bigot. No, please come back to the cinema. Please come back to the park. We're doing amazing things, you fucking bigot. And then they'll just be like this forever, right? They're mentally damaged now. They've suffered a grievous. They've suffered a severe head injury. Fuck. And they'll never recover. Oh, well. Exclusive, the Walt Disney Company's RISE program grants money to filmmakers based on religious beliefs. The Walt Disney Company appears to be financially benefiting, and more, young filmmakers who profess belief in Islam. It's part of a little-known program within the company called RISE, and it's led by someone with an interesting background. Ooh, let's find out. That ParkPlace.com was sent a tip by a reader that has turned out to be quite the interesting situation for the Walt Disney Company. According to information we've received, Disney may be acting in a way that could reasonably be considered stifling to those of Christian, Jewish, and other religious beliefs. It all comes down to a program that is awarding significant funds and assistance to those who profess Islam as their worldview. While at first we were stunned to even consider that this was real, it turns out it's real and publicly available for us to confirm. Excuse me. About 2 months ago, Disney put out the following statement. The Walt Disney Company and Sundance Institute, the nonprofit organization behind the Sundance Film Festival and Sundance Labs, announced the first cohort of the Sundance Institute, the Walt Disney Company Muslim Artist Fellowship. This fellowship program aims to provide 4 Muslim artists with year-round comprehensive creative and tactical support, enabling them to cultivate their skills and advance within the industry. Disney's support of the Muslim Artist Fellowship is part of the Disney Future Storytellers, an initiative to deliver on the company's commitment to empower the next generation of storytellers and innovators. Through social investments and programs that provide inspiration and hands-on experience, Disney is helping today's up-and-coming storytellers dream about their future, build their talents and skills, and become who they imagine they can be. Okay, just off the top of my head, just stick with me here for a second. Just stay with me here for a second. We just had an article about a trans employee at Disney. I don't know if you've heard or seen what Islam does to gay and trans people. But it involves a rooftop, right? And a long ride down. So this is like the schizophrenia of these college protesters who are holding signs that say "Queers for Palestine," and they have no idea that the moment they would ever step foot in Palestine or any Muslim country, they would be executed. So why is Disney trying to mash these things together? This is the ignorance of wokeism. This is the ignorance of progressivism. The left, I can't fucking believe it. These people have no basic understanding of any other group of people. None. They have this really weird thing. Like I said, they've suffered a bad head injury, a severe head injury, right? And they think that they have this desire to help all of the people that they view as lesser than them, right? And they view pretty much everyone else as lesser than them. And then they pick and choose who they want to help or who they want to be seen helping based on how much it will help them gain brownie points for the ESG. They don't genuinely learn anything about any of these groups of people. They don't want to. They don't care, right? You would actually need some genuine empathy and some actual care to learn about these groups of people, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to learn about these groups of people, so they learn nothing. And they imagine this world. They've been sold this image, this world of kumbaya, where all of the struggling people of all the struggling lands of the world can come to this magical land, and they can all hold hands, and everyone will get along just because reasons. Because somebody signed a bill that said, oh, this is the Kumbaya law that we're all going to sign in, and everyone's going to hold hands. And every single day at noon, you're going to be required to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. And it will just fix everything. And they believe this. They don't consider that people from different backgrounds might not get along, might hate each other, might fight violently sometimes. They have no conception of this because they don't understand other people and they don't want to, because they don't care about other people. So then you get stupid shit like people saying Queers for Palestine and a company that is, hiding the fact that they're trying to push a groomer mentality onto grade school children, also at the same time supporting a worldview that would throw those groomers off of a rooftop. And they have no idea they're doing it. And they don't care. And if you point it out, they'll call you a bigot. They're fucking retarded. Retarded. Fuck it. Let's see. Where did I leave off? I got off on a rambling rant there. Empower the next generation of storytellers and innovators, God. Through social investments and programs that provide inspiration and hands-on experience, Disney is helping today's up-and-coming storytellers dream about their future, build their talents and skills, and become who they imagine they can be. We are honored to join forces with the Sundance Institute to launch the Muslim Artist Fellowship, an initiative that reflects our shared dedication to fostering the next generation of filmmakers, expressed Mahin Ibrahim, Director of Creative Talent Pathways, Representation, and Inclusion Strategies at Disney. They just come up with the most garbled nonsense for as different titles for DEI, and they have to keep changing it because they know people hate it. Through this collaborative effort, we aim to amplify the diverse perspectives of these artists while empowering them to propel their careers and craft compelling narratives that resonate with audiences worldwide. As part of this initiative, each artist is provided with an unrestricted grant of $15,000 and an individualized support to facilitate the advancement of their projects. As a Sundance Institute grantee, the fellowship also extends exclusive opportunities for networking and community-building events, allowing artists to connect with fellow creatives and industry professionals. Our collaboration with the Walt Disney Company will help further opportunities to uplift Muslim artists and their narratives. Supporting these artists through a bespoke fellowship will not only elevate Muslim representation, but also bring more visibility to their stories, said Hajnal Monar Jajeks, Sundance Institute's Director of Artist Accelerator and Women at Sundance Programs. Do you think that there's someone... there probably is at a marketing firm, someone who is paid to come up with these crazy bullshit titles of all the different groups within these institutions. Sundance Institute's Director of Artist Accelerator and Women at Sundance Programs. We're thrilled to launch this new initiative to provide support to these 4 talented artists, Kamal Bilal, Razri Jafri, Sarah Mok, and Jumai Yusuf, through this fellowship. Oh my, need a drink. Need a drink. What's that say? After CEO Bob Iger claims he's removed the company from the culture war, Disneyland announced its Pride Night. Yeah, of course they did. A look into the recipients of these unrestricted grants reveals that they are not all of the same ethnicities, races, geographic locations, nor races. Okay. The recipients seem to solely be allowed into this category of grant beneficiary via their professed status of Muslim, a term that denotes belief and adherence to Muslim. I wonder, I'm just going to go out on the internets and I'm going to look for a bunch of grants, that just are intersectional identification grants. And I'm just going to see if I qualify. If Ibram X. Kennedy can get $45 million from Boston College to do fucking jack all shit, I can maybe get like 4,000. No, I'm white and straight. However, looking into these, looking into these individuals also brings about the question of how Disney determined who was a Muslim and who wasn't. For example, one reference in the press release to a project by a Muslim grant recipient is clear that their project is similar to She-Ra and the Princess of Power, a cartoon with strong lesbian themes. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. While we take no position on She-Ra, nor its messages in this article, we're cognizant that many Muslim belief systems would not be keen to promote such a theme. Thank you. Yes. So what happens if they run into a real Muslim, who qualifies for the grant, and, they sign the contract and everything, and the money gets deposited into the account, and then they have their first meeting with this guy or gal or whatever, and they say, well, we really need to be inclusive, Muhammad. We really need to be inclusive, so we were thinking maybe you could put a lesbian in your story. How do you think that's going to go? And then when he says, go fuck yourself, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? This is the kind of stuff I want to see happening. I am an accelerationist when it comes to the destruction of Disney. I want to see this happen today. I want this to blow up in their face spectacularly, and I'm sure it will. In fact, it is. It appears that this grant program is driven via a department initiative inside the Walt Disney Company that has, up until this point, received very little scrutiny from our coverage. RISE, Representation and Inclusion Strategies, is a large effort within Disney that crosses studios, departments, and even subsidiaries. It appears to be a well-funded, cohesive push within the company that ensures non-white, non-European, non-Judeo-Christian stories and personalities are promoted to tremendous extent. Yeah, well, all right, let me, I know we got to keep going here, but I got to I'll be right back. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. But we're back. Open the window a little bit more. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Hold on a second. While I'm thinking about it, I just want to check the weather real quick and see what the beautiful day is going to be like today. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Oh, it's going to be 70 and sunny. Marvelous. Just marvelous. Let's get back into it. Maria Bengi is the vice president over at Rise, and she certainly has an interesting background. A graduate of the University of California, Irvine, Mrs. Bengi was most recently the leader of a company called Harness, which worked to generate gender justice in the entertainment industry through collaborations and iteration with corporate leaders and activists. Bengi also has a past that may give some folks some pause. For example, in 2007, Bengi is recorded as having said, "We're not against Jews, we're against Zionists." For those of you who might not know, that would mean that Mrs. Bengi was very publicly against those who advocate for the continuation of the existence of Israel. At least that's the traditional meaning of Zionist. I want to take a break real quick and make a comment on that. It was my understanding that Zionist had nothing to do with saying, oh, no, Israel has the right to exist. Zionist has something to do with a group of people who think that the Jewish people own the world. So basically, it is a Jewish supremacy movement that thinks that the rest of us are just belong to. And I am perfectly capable of separating your just average Jewish person in New York getting a bagel and a Zionist, right? I am perfectly capable of separating those two things. That there's a distinction. There's a distinction, okay? They don't want you to believe there is a distinction so that you can't criticize Zionism. That's the angle. The statements grow far more worrisome looking into additional quotes from that time period in her life. This is from 2007 from an article in Forward. Bengi, who was also communications director of MSA West, said that the person who spoke to demonstrators outside the pipe speech was a former student who was speaking as an individual. Referring to the speaker's remark about wiping out Israel, Bengi said he was talking about the political apparatus of Israel, not the people there. I don't think anyone condones the mass murder of thousands of people. See, that is an important distinction too. There's a lot of good, innocent people, I am sure, over at Israel. But and just like there is in Palestine, unfortunately, there's basically like two big terrorist organizations that has got them caught in the middle of some bullshit. She said that her club has invited Ali to campus more than once because of the fact that he represents a viewpoint that is not normally represented in the mainstream. He is somebody that stands behind his words rather than just speaks. There are definitely statements that he makes that we would not agree with. But she expressed skepticism regarding charges that Ali is anti-Semitic. Anything that is anti-Semitic is really wrong. We don't stand for hate speech whatsoever, she said. I personally have not heard anything where he has said anything along that line. I think sometimes some of the things he says gets taken out of context. And there she is, Miss Maria Bengi. The Ali individual defended by Bengi in the article is Amir Abdel Malik Ali, and according to Discover the Networks, is a supporter of Hamas and Hezbollah. From the site, a fervent admirer of the favored nation of Islam leader Malcolm X, Malik Ali is the leader of the As Sabiqin movement, which is inspired by Malcolm's work. Okay, all right. He supports a bunch of. It sounds like he supports maybe some radical Islam. In 2019, Bengi was deeply intertwined with the entertainment industry, as well as appearing at events featuring trans community leaders, Black Lives Matter's founder, Muslim ban detractors. She bragged that companies like NBC were told by her group at the time, "You're going to pay us, and we're going to pay our communities." This was revealed during a panel she participated in called The Road to Decolonization. And of course, decolonization often refers to the attempts to eradicate European and white culture. So it doesn't sound like this person is like a hardcore Muslim, or maybe they're using it just for their advantage. Because if she's working with trans community leaders and Black Lives Matter Marxists, and then telling people, "You're going to pay us," and then we're going to pay our communities, and we're going to decolonize and everything. So she's not really a Muslim. She's a Marxist. That's a more accurate description. Bengi has also been deeply involved in pushing something called gender justice in the entertainment industry. In 2020, she participated in a highly political video conference where she laid out her thoughts on gender equity and anti-racism, not only in entertainment but also at the ballot box. Oh, God, no. I can't listen to that. Oh, this is 50. No, that's like the whole stream. According to On the Red Carpet, Bengi's Rise department is so influential at the Walt Disney Company that she literally oversees every production the company has at any given time, even to the point of having significant control and input. That's over 200 productions at any given time over the full span of the company. And every single one of those productions seems to be under the watchful eye of someone who appears to have an extremely partisan and controversial worldview over the last 2 decades. So basically, there is this crazy Marxist lady giving her approval or disapproval to everything happening at Disney. That's what it sounds like. Perhaps it is no wonder that Disney has gone so far in a particular ideological direction with many of its entertainment offerings. As Vice President of Representation and Inclusion Strategies at the Walt Disney Studios, some of Maria Bengi's responsibilities include overseeing hundreds of film productions from company entities such as 20th Century Fox Studios, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm and more. Wow. Given the apparent views of Bengi and their strong connection with what many would call the extreme left, it begs the question about even what type of Muslim adherents would be allowed to receive the grants mentioned at the beginning of this article. Yes, that's my point. Like, hardcore followers of Islam are not going to be down with all of this shit that Disney has been pushing. Like, what? It doesn't sound like it's a Muslim thing. It really sounds like it's just a Marxist thing. And that makes sense because they would hide it under something else. They would hide it behind something else. They just lie. They just lie about everything. Facts don't matter to them in any way, shape, or form. Like, not in any way. Thousands of years of human history, doesn't matter. Nope, that didn't happen because they all believe they were born in year 0. Nothing important ever happened before the day they were born. They all believe that. And if anything that happened before the day they were born must be destroyed. And they all believe that too. Beyond just the ethical issues one might have regarding a publicly traded corporation gifting young people tremendous support for religious beliefs, a reasonable question might be whether or not particular doctrinal beliefs within the religion might provide weight upon who is gifted such monies and support. And then, of course, there's the issue of equity and/or equality. Is Disney gifting huge sums of money to young Jewish writers? What about Christians? What about Hindus or Taoists? The idea of Muslims being a minority in need of special financial support doesn't seem supported in consideration of the fact that Islam is the second largest religion of the world. Yeah, there's probably over 1 billion of them on the planet. So why is it that the department led by a Muslim woman is bestowing unrestricted grant money from Disney to those who share her particular faith? Because it's not about faith. Because she's not a Muslim. She's a Marxist giving money to other Marxist people. This is just the beginning of our look into the Rise program at Disney. Much at Reimagine Tomorrow represents a deeply ideological, partisan, anti-conservative, anti-traditional activism within the company. Rise appears to be even more so. We'll keep investigating this, and we look forward to discovering what else has been going on at a company that was supposed to be interested in creating entertainment for the widest swath of consumers possible. Those days are long gone. Like, Disney is infested with this shit. Like, this is so deep into the DNA of Disney now. I have no idea what it would possibly take for Disney to come back from all of this crap. It's going to take a hell of a lot more than Deadpool and Wolverine. That ain't gonna... It would seriously take, like, maybe 2 full years of just nonstop making traditional Disney product. And you'd have to get rid of the whole board. The best thing for this company would have been Nelson Peltz and Elon. Elon Musk would have been the best thing for this company if he were allowed to just go in there and do the whole Twitter thing on it. But that never would have happened. Never would have happened. So it's no mystery, right, that Disney's losing money. None of this is surprising. None of it. What was this? I don't know why I brought this up. And speaking of a little bit, yeah, Disney is bringing this thing, and I'm not trying to push religious this or that in anyone, but Disney has also, they have a new partnership, it looks like, with Angel Studios. So Angel Studios, the creator of the production company that made Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom. Okay. So there's that. I don't know. I wouldn't buy Disney stock if I were you. So moving on to our our thumbnail story. I was going to say title screen story, but I guess that's kind of the same thing. Moving on, I don't know if you've heard, but Sony has lost its mind. Sony has lost its mind, and they are destroying what is one of the most popular games in the last, seems like, decade. It feels that way. It was probably closer to maybe like 5 years, but I mean, one of the most popular games I've seen in a very long time. I think like the peak concurrent players on this was like 400,000. That's a lot. And then it was averaging, I think, like 200,000. But anyway, excuse me. Sony is now requiring and we've shifted to video games if you couldn't tell. And this is bounding into comments by Spencer Bakuli on May 3rd of 24. Sony is now requiring Helldivers 2 PC players to link a Steam and PSN accounts in order to access the game. So I'm sure you all know what Steam is. And you go on, so this is affecting PC players. PC players who had a Steam account who maybe don't even own a PlayStation, right? Because when you get a PlayStation, you get online and you want to play Sony games and whatnot, you have to sign up to a PSN account, and I don't believe it charges anything. But on PC, you don't have to do that. Now, Sony is trying to force people who bought Helldivers on PC to sign up for a PlayStation Network account to continue playing Helldivers on a PC. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse. I don't even know what the fuck griefing is. In a frustrating and unnecessary move that serves only to hurt the reputation of the fan-favorite democracy-spreading simulator, Helldivers 2 publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced that following the fixing of apparent technical issues, PC players will now be required to link their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account in order to play the game. This soon-to-be-implemented change to Helldivers 2's terms of service was first revealed to the public via a post made by SIE to the game's official Steam and Twitter pages on May 2nd. Attention Helldivers, wrote Sony. Due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network to be temporarily optional. The grace period will now expire. So, you all know at the beginning of any game, you've got to scroll through the big thing that nobody reads, and you've got to hit accept or agree to terms, blah, blah, blah. So what they're trying to tell people is that this has always been there. They forgot to, tell people about it, which is a bit sus. And they said it was a grace period, and now it's over. So now you're going to have to sign up for the PlayStation Network account, or you're just not going to be able to play anymore. So this has been going for, 3 months? 3 months. Incredibly successful game. And after 3 months, you're just like, yeah, but no. Yeah, but no. You got to sign up. Like, why in God's name? In defense of this move, the publisher asserted, account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studios games. It's really odd. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior, they added. It also allows those players that have been banned the right to appeal. I'm going to do something real quick. What is... I don't even know what the fuck griefing is. A griefer or bad faith player is a player in a multiplayer video game who deliberately and intentionally irritates, harasses, annoys, or trolls other players within the game. Griefing is often accomplished by destroying things constructed by other players or stealing items. So he's a dick. So they want to combat players who are just dicks. This is government intervention. This is government intervention. Let the free people govern themselves. This is government intervention. Government intervention never works. Oh, man. Drawing their message to a close, SIE then explained to players that rather than rolling out this change immediately, they would be doing so gradually over the course of the next 4 weeks. That's interesting. Gradually. Like, how do you gradually either sign up or not sign up for something? As of May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account, said SIE. Sony Interactive Entertainment. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked a Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. Okay, we understand that while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us to continue to build a community that you are all proud to be a part of, the publisher ultimately concluded. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2. Well, we'll get to that. While some may question why this development would draw the ire of PC-based Helldivers, after all, a PlayStation Network account is completely free to create, it should be noted that the issue with Sony's new requirements is not one of cost, but one of service. Simply put, the more hoops a company requires a customer to jump through in order to enjoy their product, the less likely said customer is to do so. As such, so I just want to add real quick, Sony, over the past few years, has had some major security breaches, major security issues, where like every single person's personal information on the PlayStation Network got hacked a couple of times. Like they've had at least 2 big security issues over like the past 3 or 4 years. I think far more than that, but I mean, there's 2 that I can think of. So, yeah, if you're forcing me to sign up, I'm thinking, well, no, you guys can't protect my information. Go fuck yourself. As such, this introduction of mandatory account linking services to benefit not the player, for whom convenience is the name of the game, nor Arrowhead Studios, who will likely see a small reputational hit due to this move, but only Sony, whose PSN ecosystem will likely see a boost in both engagement and financial revenue thanks to the forthcoming influx of new users. And there it is. In adding insult to injury, it should be noted that despite mandating players connect their Steam and PSN accounts as of writing, Arrowhead Games has yet to announce any plans to introduce cross-account progression into the title. So the other thing is they talk about that it's only going to be the benefit to Sony. It's going to be a benefit because now they'll have all your information and they'll sell it to whoever they want for profit. They'll do whatever they want with your information. And of course, they'll sign all sorts of things. Well, you'll sign all sorts of things that say, oh yeah, I understand that you're going to collect. And no, you won't do anything with it. And then they'll do something with it because that's what they all do. It was just discovered not too long ago, a few days or a few weeks, that pretty much every major wireless carrier, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile in the United States, was just selling all of their customer information to the highest bidder. And you know what they'll do? They'll take probably billions in profits and they'll pay, I don't know, like $100 million fine, and then they'll just keep doing it. And that's what will happen. So if anything happens to Sony, it probably won't. But if anything does happen to Sony, it will be some kind of half-assed fine, and then they'll just go back to doing what they were doing. That's it. And that's how this whole system works, right? People will slam their fist on the table and say, you guys got to do something about this. They can't do this to consumers. And then some congressman will come out and say, blah, 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 we got to do this. And Sony will pay $100 million to, like 10 congressmen, and it'll go away. And then Sony will just keep doing whatever they were doing. So, yeah, not good. That's not good. So moving on, though, the Helldivers 2 CEO, John Pilstead, appears completely unaware that the PlayStation Network linking requires facial scanning or ID submission. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. See, Sony wants to track your emotions and your biometrics, and now they're trying to force you to do so. They got you hooked with the most popular game of the year, and now they're trying to collect your data in more ways than one. That was kind of clumsy. Let me move on. John F. Trent, That Park Place, May 4th, 24. Arrowhead Game Studios and Helldivers 2 CEO John Pilestead responded to gamers being extremely upset about the game requiring Steam players to link their Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account in order to play the game beginning in June. Sony Interactive Entertainment, the game's publisher, published a post to the game's Steam forums announcing this requirement earlier this week. And they said, due to the technical issues, okay, we just went over that. Account linking plays it, and we just went over that. It then declared, as such, of May 6th, Helldivers 2. Okay, we went over all that, all the requirements, everything they're doing. And now we're on to the CEO of Arrowhead Studios. Pilestead attempted to calm gamers down, posting to X, "Hey everyone, in regards to account linking and questions there too. Please reference PlayStation Support. If you have any further questions, you can reach out using the Contact PlayStation Support bottom of the page." Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern replied, "Fix your community managers. They are creating a PR disaster for you." Let's see if we can open that up real quick. So these are messages, these are posts that Grums found, Mark Kern's Grums on Twitter found, of community managers from Helldivers. It's not like this is the first or even the 14th mainstream game to require a third-party account that takes a couple minutes to create, but if it's a deal breaker to have to take 120 seconds out of your day to enter an email about a password and then forget about it, change your Steam review and make your displeasure known on a platform where it matters, so being very dismissive. This will kill Helldivers 2 on Steam. Backpedal or lose your player base. I thought you were refunding and leaving. They don't care. They don't care. You are nothing more than a headache. Your complaints are just a headache. They don't give a fuck about you or your concerns. Pilestead replied, "I understand that linking accounts and signing up for additional services may not be something that some users would like to do, and that needs to be respected. While the Steam page has always shown the requirements on the game page, I wish we had been more clear with the long-term intent to not disappoint any of the divers out there." A number of individuals then informed him that linking their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account requires a phone number, ID, or facial scan in the United Kingdom. One stated, "It's also the fact I'm forced to hand over a phone number, ID, or facial scan just to make the bloody account in the UK. Xbox doesn't ask you for that sort of stuff when you make it. Also the fact they've had so many data breaches, so I doubt said information is safe in their hands." And the Pilestead replied, "Is this true? ID or facial scan?" Gobo Girl X, as well as others, shared screenshots proving this is a requirement. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Sony, age verification, facial scanner, ID. Get fucked, Sony. God. And all of this after you released Madam Web. Ex-user Maverick Live underspace also informed Pilestead it's true for those who reside in the UK and Ireland. He also linked to PlayStation support page for the United Kingdom that states, "We are piloting an age verification process for players who register for new accounts in the UK and Ireland. If you are setting up an adult account, you will be asked to provide proof that you are over the minimum age for that type of account using an age verification service." It also notes that the age verification is done via mobile number, facial scan, or ID. Verification methods are provided by our service provider, Yoti. Pilestead responded with bewilderment. Wow, that seems crazy. But I assume it's a law in the UK that you need to be able to verify the age of your users? Either way, sounds like a bit too much for my freedom-loving mind. Excuse me. Sorry. While Pilestead did not seem to be aware that PlayStation Network linking requires a phone number, ID, or facial scan, he did address the fact that the linking will lock out players who live in certain countries that cannot make PlayStation Network accounts. Decenemacan wrote, "Let me start by saying I know it's not you guys, but Sony who is holding the metaphorical gun here. But some countries that have your players literally cannot make PSN accounts because Sony does not recognize them on PlayStation Network. What's going to happen to those players?" So if you're wondering, there are some countries that just Sony just doesn't have a deal in place where they are for whatever legal reason or whatever reason at all, they don't have a PlayStation Network. Like in Ukraine. I saw that one on Twitter. Ukraine doesn't have PlayStation Network in Twitter. So what happens? What's going to happen if Sony has to deal with a bunch of backlash that they aren't supporting Ukraine because they're not allowing PlayStation Network in Ukraine? What's going to happen with that? Pilestead responded, "We are discussing that question with our partners at PlayStation and trying to find a solution." What do you make of Pilestead's comments in response to the backlash regarding Sony requiring a PlayStation Network? Oh, boy. So, yeah, here's the Grums. Boy, oh, boy, dude. What a mess. Let's keep going, though, because they're hearing about it. They are certainly hearing about it on Fandom Pulse, May the 4th. Oh, yeah, yesterday was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I did not watch any Star Wars. I have had no desire to watch any Star Wars at all. Thanks, Disney. I can't wait for the Acolyte. I don't know if I'm going to talk about that stupid show. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll be sad, I guess. No, if I were sad, that would mean that I care. I am completely apathetic towards Star Wars. Fandom Pulse by The Comic Crow on May the 4th. Over 120,000 negative reviews for Helldivers 2 since Sony mandates the PSN account to play on PC. It's been one day since the announcement that Helldivers 2 would require PC players to have a PSN account, and already the game has lost its mostly positive review score on Steam. As of the writing of this article, there are currently more than 120,000 negative reviews dropped since the official X account for Helldivers 2 told players of this controversial change. There it is right there. Reviews mixed all time, all the way down to 65%. Damn. Mostly negative of the recent. Boy, oh boy. While it's true that Sony is hardly the first company to require a mandatory sign-up service in order to play one of their games, the truth of the matter is that it's the first time Sony has ever made it a requirement. So yeah, Ubisoft, Microsoft, and others usually require it. But for Helldivers 2, you could originally simply skip this step originally. Good Lord. So to have it forced onto a PC fanbase months after release, the outrage should have been anticipated. Yeah, like they can't possibly be surprised by this. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if Sony was just like, huh? What do you mean? We were making money. That means people are happy. Let's try to charge them more money. Oh, Lord. Griefing and abuse. Yeah. And so people have, that's a good one, yeah. Why would you do that, Sony? Why would you do this? So they're hearing it. They're hearing it. And another reason they might be hearing it. And now this goes this might cover what we've already spoke about, but let's just get into it. This is that part place again. Helldivers 2 community manager claims players in countries where PlayStation Network not available will not need to link Steam accounts. Okay, so this is a bit of an update. We're going down the line here. A bit of an update where we said that some of those countries you couldn't get PlayStation Network, so you wouldn't be able to play on PC anymore. This community manager, apparently, why did I hold my hand like I was shouting it? This community manager, oh no, claims players in countries where PlayStation Network is not available will not need to link their Steam accounts, okay? I just discombobulated my microphone setup, excuse me. Helldivers 2 community manager Spitz claims the game will no longer require players to link a PlayStation Network account to their Steam account in countries where PlayStation Network is not available. So I wonder if you could use a VPN to get around it. You could use a VPN to say that you're in, I don't know, Uzbekistan or Ukraine, I guess. And that so you wouldn't have to sign up for it. I wonder if that's going to be a possibility. I'm sure someone's already working on it. Or they've already worked on it. Sony Helldivers 2's that's just not written. Helldivers 2's publisher announced players would be required to link their Steam account. Yep, we know that. Sony due to technical issues, we went over all that. Okay, we went over all that. One of the complaints lodged against the announcement was the fact that PlayStation Network is not available in all countries across the world. Helldivers 2 CEO John Pilestead initially addressed this complaint, and we went over that, trying to find a solution. Now, one of the game's community managers, Spitz, claims players in countries where PlayStation Network is not available will not need to link a PlayStation Network account in order to play. First, Spitz addressed his flippant remark regarding players' complaints about linking their accounts to PlayStation Network. He wrote, "Yeah, I was completely unaware how many countries didn't have the ability to make a PSN account when I made that statement. I deeply regret implying, that it was so easy for everyone to just sign up and not have to worry about it. It's absolutely not our intention to force people to break Sony's terms of service or just not play the game if they're in a restricted region. There needs to be a better solution." In a follow-up post, Spitz wrote, "If a better solution isn't provided for players who are in regions without PSN coverage, I'm assured that we won't be making the requirement mandatory for those players. We're not going to force people to either break the Sony terms of service or not play the game." After previously disparaging gamers and claiming that negative feedback would not matter, Spitz now indicates that players should continue to provide negative feedback so they can use it in discussions with Sony. The community manager wrote, "Players making their displeasure known through reviews, refunds, etc. gives us more pull in the discussions with Sony." Gives us more pull. Now he's talking like he's one of the gamers when he was berating the gamers not too long ago. They don't read our Discord. Now, I'm going to say this guy's probably been a gamer for a very long time. But something happens to people when they get approval to be like a community manager and stuff. When a studio, even if it was just Arrowhead, taps them on the shoulder and says, "Hey, community manager," they get a little high and mighty, right? They get some hubris. Their head gets a little big. It happens to all of us in one way, shape, or form. Let's see. They don't read our Discord. It hurts to see the game's popularity suffer in ratings, but discussions are ongoing and our team is on the side of the players in this fight. It's unrealistic to expect people to make PSN accounts in different regions to get past the account linking requirement. We're aware of that. Discussions are ongoing. As noted above, he previously indicated negative feedback did not matter writing. Feedback is always listened to, most of it is passed on, and most of what is passed on is considered and goes into what changes we make when it comes to a requirement from Sony that has existed since pre-launch. I don't think feedback is going to change much. Nevertheless, negative feedback has been piling up and the player base has been dwindling. Steam reports peak concurrent players today has only reached 115,130 players, down from 119,027 from May 3rd and 119,000. So basically went down by 5,000 in about a day. Yeah, all-time peak was 458,709. Good Lord. On top of the player base dwindling, the game's Steam reviews have been overwhelmingly negative over the past couple of days. May 3rd, it received 62,477 negative reviews and only 252 positive reviews. On Saturday, May 4th, it received 94,000 negative reviews. It has received 0 positive reviews. What do you make of this shift in narrative from the community managers? Like, why would you do this? You know what this is proof of? This is just proof, if you needed proof, that these companies, these mega corporations, they don't care if the customer enjoys the product. They don't care about that, right? For them, it's all bottom line. It's all bottom line. And we are in a world where the business mindset is just data, 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 analytics, 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 algorithm, algorithm, algorithm. And now, getting into AI, AI, AI. That's all they pour, all marketing, marketing, marketing. They pour all of their money into this shit. Let's analyze every single bit of demographic information that we can possibly find. Let's see if we can use the AI to construct an algorithm that will tell us exactly what people want. Exactly when they want it, how they want it, the color, the shape, the size, the texture, the taste, the smell, all of it. The exact video game they want, everything they want, right? And then have another algorithm that tells us how to make it for as cheap as possible. And then another algorithm how to market it, right? And pour all of our money into this shit. But it doesn't matter the quality of the product. We don't care. No, we need an algorithm that tells us what are the cheapest components we can use while still making it look good and function for a while. Because it can't break on the first day, but if it breaks in like 3 months, tough shit. Then they'll just have to buy another one. That's all these corporations care about. That's all they care about. The best way to defeat every single one of these companies is just disconnect from them, completely disconnect from them. Completely disconnect. It's the only language that they understand. It's the only language that anyone seems to understand anymore. You vote with your dollar. Which is fine, because you can do something else, right? And people have made this point. Dozens of people have made this point that you could never buy a brand new video game ever again. And you could play a bunch of, new to you older games until the day you die. You'd never play them all. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of games, movies, books, albums. You never need to buy another brand new piece of entertainment ever again. Ever. You'll be perfectly fine. You don't need what they have. They need you. They need you. And they'll do just about anything to get your attention and your money. They're desperate for it. So what do? Don't give them your attention. And don't give them your money. It's the only language they understand. It's the only language they understand. Let's see. Why did I bring this up? I can't even remember why I brought this up. So I wanted to, while we were at it with Sony, I wanted to mention Stellar Blade. Why did I? Because they had the censorship, right? And I brought this webpage up, and I can't remember why. Maybe it was this right here. Yeah, here's the negative reviews again. Here it is, all is. But then, of course, they had the Stellar Blade. They had the Stellar Blade shit where they were censoring. They censored the hard R, and now it's Crimer, which isn't a fucking thing. And they, they covered up like half an inch of Eve's thigh and cleavage, and they succumb to the woke mafia. But this is Fandom Pulse, but we were on the topic of Sony and their bullshit. So think about this. In the first quarter of this year, Sony has 2 massive games. Massive. And it's fucking them both up. Like, intentionally. Jesus Christ. It is a Christmas miracle these corporations don't go bankrupt. So Fandom Pulse, this is by Jack Dunn, written on May the 4th. Internal strife at Shift Up, Stellar Blade flirtation with Kotaku cut short when Grums called them out. Stellar Blade's flirtation with Kotaku was cut short when Grums called them out, but does their folly point to internal strife? Sensation seekers at Kotaku, the sleaze rag posing as a gaming magazine that employs failed cam girls, I love that description, couldn't contain their glee at the censorship of Eve and Stellar Blade and dedicated an article to the game titled Stellar Blade's Eve is hottest when she's not revealing everything. Says a former sex worker. So I have a question for Alyssa Mercante, who is, I think she's the editor now at Kotaku. So if she didn't write this, she would have had to approve it. That Stellar Blade's Eve is hottest when she's not revealing everything. So she's a cam girl. I have a question for her. Do you keep your clothes on when you're on camera? No, you don't. Why is that? Oh, it's because people, for some reason, find you sexier without your clothes on? Really? Is that when you get the most money? Most interaction? It is, isn't it? You fucking moron. In what gamers believe was a traitorous and insulting move, the Stellar Blade Twitter account reposted the Kotaku post that contained the article. X-user Packer Girl, Packer Girl's a really good follow on X, by the way. X-user Packer Girl picked up on Stellar Blade's repost of Kotaku's post, asking, did Stellar Blade just admit the day one patch censored costumes, or is this a coincidence? Well, let's take a look. There's that one. Stellar Blade offers the same uncensored version in all countries. Excuse me, I burped. Including the Japanese version. Oh, let's see. Stellar Blade's Eve is hottest when she's not revealing everything. Wow. And Stellar Blade reposted that. There it is. Jesus Christ, idiots. They're so stupid. Game developer and former team lead for OG World of Warcraft and producer at Diablo 2 and StarCraft, 2 of my favorite games, Diablo 2 and StarCraft, Mark Kern called out the Stellar Blade account manager's flirtation with sleaze rag Kotaku. Community manager for Stellar Blade, this is quote, community manager for Stellar Blade retweets Kotaku on outfit censorship justification. Helldivers 2, community manager, hold my beer. Really, these community managers are both terrible at their jobs. They are competing for worst crisis management in gaming. Grums is right. It is bad enough that we have gaming journalists at sleaze rags like Kotaku who hate gamers. The last thing video game companies need are community managers who hate gamers too. This faux pas by Stellar Blade ex-account manager could have costed them dearly, especially considering that Grums has called on gamers to support Stellar Blade and not boycott it. However, the Stellar Blade account deleted the repost of the Kotaku sleaze rag article soon after the faux pas was noted by Grums. It could be that the Stellar Blade account manager genuinely made a mistake? Maybe. Or it could be that Stellar Blade developer Shift Up was concerned about a backlash from gamers. Ex-user Packer Girl noted, update, Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante confirmed that Stellar Blade unretweeted the Kotaku article. Yeah, okay. It is hard to give the Stellar Blade community manager benefit of the doubt, yeah it is, and ascribe this faux pas to a genuine mistake on his or her part. It's a big maybe. No community manager of any game, let alone the community manager of Stellar Blade, is unaware of the Stellar Blade censorship debacle. Yeah, I that makes sense to you and me that that you wouldn't be unaware, that you'd have to be so in tune with the game that you're a community manager for, that you would know about all of it. But these people seem to be so insanely out of touch with everything. It would not surprise me one bit. It really wouldn't if they had no idea what this was. And then they were, oh shit, why am I getting backlash? I'll give you an example of this. Because this is going to be like a Zoomer, a younger person. And young people are in a lot of trouble. There's this weird phenomenon going on where the Zoomers and the Gen Alpha, or whatever the fuck it's called, they don't realize that they are in a world that has other people. It's like they're shocked when they go outside, and if they go to the mall or whatever. Well, where do people still go? Like the grocery store, I guess. They go to a Walmart or a Meijer, and they are so tuned out to the fact that other people are around. You've seen them all, right? Even if they're not staring at the phone, they just like walk straight ahead and don't move. They just have a vacant look on their face, or like they're drooling on themselves or something like that. And they're just kind of bumping into stuff and like walking left and right. Here's why this sprung in my mind. The other day, I'm walking the dogs, and we come to this house that's up the road a little bit. And one of their dogs, they got two dogs, they got a puppy and a little chihuahua. And this little chihuahua had gotten out of the fence, and he's running around the front yard. So I go up to the front door of this house, and I ring the doorbell to say, hey, your little chihuahua is out, and I don't want the dog to, they're kind of by a busy road. It's like, I don't want the dog to get hurt. I want the dog to be safe and happy. Could you please watch him? And I rung the doorbell, and this guy, who he looks like he's 25, 26 or something, comes to the door, a little disheveled, and he opens the door. He's like, hey? Like, he's completely surprised that I'm there, even though I rung the doorbell. He's like, hey? And I said, hey, your dog is outside the fence. Your chihuahua's like running around the front yard. He's right there. He's right there. And he's like, what? Oh, cool. Cool, man. Oh, what? Oh, cool. It was like he was completely surprised that he would open the door and there would be a completely new world where stuff was happening. And it's like, dude, the chihuahua's right there. And he's like, oh. He's like, come here, man. Come here. And I was like, well, have a nice day. And I walked away, and he didn't even acknowledge me again. It's like, oh, come here, man. Like, it's like they see someone else, or they see another creature move, or they notice a tree, and they go, oh, where the fuck did that come from? It's like they're surprised that everything else is even in existence. What is that? What is going on? Fuck. Oh, let's see. That leaves only two possibilities. Either game developers Shift Up is pro-censorship, or the community manager went rogue, which could point to internal striving at Shift Up. Excuse me. Either way, Shift Up needs to get its house in order. Up to now, the gaming community has supported Stellar Blade, but if it turns out that Shift Up is aligning with gamer-hating and a PR censorship sleaze rag Kotaku, pro-censorship, support for Stellar Blade could vaporize. I'm starting to see just a lot of errors. There's just so many errors and grammatical errors everywhere. I really like this website, Fandom Pulse, but come on, man. We got to... Come on. All right, I'm going to end up wrapping it up here pretty quick here, but there's a few more things I wanted to touch on. We're going to get into a few more topics here. We covered the entertainment. It's time to get into the wild and the wacky. Ladies and gentlemen, we celebrated over this past week. It was the anniversary of one of the most monumental internet moments, a moment cemented in time that will be found to have been crucial to the development of humanity and social media. 500 years down the road, 1,000 years down the road, 10,000 years down the road, when the imperium of man is deep into space, they'll be telling these stories. The God Emperor King will tell stories of DSP and the time that he masturbated on stream and didn't know the camera was on. That's right. You know it. I know it. You love it. I love it in some really sick and twisted way. Let's see. Let's watch in all of its glory the original moment itself. I'm not going to let you escape this. Here's DSP. This is it. This is the whole thing. I think this is it. How long is this? 157. Yeah, he's not. Yeah. Okay, he's focused. He's intense. Focused. DSP Gaming beating off after he left the camera on. Ah, you could see his arm moving. God damn it. He's in the zone. I mean, he is just feeling it in more ways than one. Oh, his eyes wandered a little bit. Oh, he's getting there. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, maybe he's edging. He's practicing his edging. Oh, Lord. I wonder what he's watching. I mean, I know it's porn, but like what kind? The stream will be starting shortly. So it switched over to that. And then it went back to his face. And oh, God, he's having a grand old time. And okay, I know. It's almost over. All right. We just got to get to the money shot, so to speak. It's getting there. Come on. God, you fat son of a bitch. Ugh. Well, he's got to tuck it up. Oh, no. There it was. We've arrived. We've arrived. Okay. And then he just...
What is up, everyone? Hello, hello.
Did you see that? Do you see how quickly he transitioned? He arrives. And then just immediately tucks it in and goes right to work.
What is up, everyone? Hello, hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
And just moves on.
In a world where evolution...
Just moves on with his life. Like nothing happened. I don't know. There it was. So we had that anniversary. So someone is saying that it's the 8th anniversary on April 3rd, and then someone on May 1st said happy 11th. So I don't know. There's a few people on YouTube who have made their bones by covering DSP's bullshit, so they would probably know. So you can go find them. What do we got next? Oh, yeah. Let's get into some political bullshit. So this piece of shit, Humza Yousaf, is already resigned as Scotland's first minister. Good riddance, you piece of shit. Humza, this is on BBC, Humza Yousaf is to resign, now he already has, as Scotland's first minister. He has arrived at the Butt House in Edinburgh, the first minister's official residence, for a press conference. Opposition parties in the Scottish Parliament had tabled 2 confidence votes, one in the first minister and another in the SNP government. Mr. Yousaf had been struggling to secure support to lead a minority government. Now, basically, this is the guy who went on a racist tirade in the halls of Parliament in Scotland or wherever they were. And then they made this disastrous hate speech law where they created like a hate speech call-in line, a reporting center, where basically if you said a naughty word, a word that they didn't like, that might hurt someone's feelings, like literally just might hurt someone's feelings, you would be reported, and they were starting to arrest people, like no joke. And then in the first week, it got 4,000 reports, probably like 98% of which were just trolling, which is good. So he's gone, so good riddance. I have no idea what they're going to do after this, but hopefully they'll be better off. They have to be. If it gets worse than him, I mean, they're just going to be in lockdown again. What else? Oh yeah, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill. So Mark Hamill visited Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, who people hate. And then he went to the White House and said some crazy shit. So,
Oh my goodness, I
so
wonder why.
here's some of his crazy
Good
shit.
afternoon,
Hold on, I'll
everybody.
fast forward it.
Happy Friday.
How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands? Yeah, me either. And look, I just got to meet the president. He gave me
He's shaking?
glasses. I'm telling you. I love the merch. Love it all. But listen, I just wanted to say I was honored to be asked to come to the White House to meet the president.
Does Mark Hamill have a health issue? I mean, other than being fucking psychotic? Does he he looks like he's really shaky. Does he have DTs? Is he going through withdrawal?
The most legislative successful president in my lifetime.
He sure looks like it. And by the way, after making a comment like that, it's like, yeah, you should be under observation. The most legislatively successful president.
And, you know, I don't have to go through the list, the bipartisan infrastructure law, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, all of that, inflation, 15 million jobs. Look, it's all good. I mean, I was really thrilled to meet the entire staff because, you know, it's not just one person. It's like a composite endeavor. And all these people, my goodness, you know, I mean, I have no...
He looks like shit. He is fucked up, man. He is messed up.
idea.
Like, he's just out of it. I bet he's on all sorts of pills. I'm not kidding. I mean, all to praise a White House that has done fuck all for the entire American populace. So we got real quick on that. What else? So yeah, praising a White House that is going to give $6 billion in loan forgiveness for 317,000 people who went to an art institute. Now, they announced they'd have $6 billion in student loan debt forgiven for 317,000 borrowers who attended a private art school that closed down. And now they're saying that the institution falsified data, knowingly misled students, and cheated borrowers into taking on mountains of debt without leading to promising career prospects at the end of their studies. So basically, these people signed up, took out, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans to practice at the Art Institute, and then when they got out, couldn't find a job because no one is looking for a gender studies artist. Well, they are now, like the DEI stuff they are. And they're like, I don't want to be a Starbucks barista forever. You guys should forgive my $500,000 student loans. Taxpayers should have to pay for my bad decisions. So what are we doing? I guess we're paying for bad decisions of people like this, of people, the protesters who get scared away by bananas. And actually, the one I really wanted to show you, if you haven't seen this, where have you been? This is seriously like one of the... I can't tell you how much I like this. And we're going to stop on this. We're going to end on this. I got to get out of here after this. I cannot tell you how happy this makes me. So, all of these protesters all over the country on these college campuses, right? They are forming... This one is this at UCLA? I think this was at UCLA, I think. But where's it at? Yeah, this is UCLA. So these protesters at UCLA and everything, they basically tried to make a Chaz, like a militarized zone where they would say what goes. They were allowing people only to enter if they had like special name tags, if they supported the cause of pro-Palestine, you know. And they were preventing people from going to class. They were making wild demands about like people bringing them food and supplies and everything. And then finally, the police said, "Look, I am all for protesting. If you want to stand over here and protest and yell and scream about whatever you want, I don't care. If you've got something good to say, people will listen. And if not, they won't." But when you start impeding people's travel, when you start shutting down classrooms and taking over buildings and making these wild demands, you're not a protester anymore. You're a terrorist. I don't care what you're trying to support. But the police finally came in and said, It's time to go home, kids. It's time to clean up. Playtime is over. Your LARPing is over. You need to go home. And what did these kids do? They're not kids. I'm sorry. These young, stupid adults do. They made shields out of trash cans and attacked police officers. And I can't believe it happened, and I love it. We have to watch. Okay? We have to watch. Just watch. Here they are, right? Here they all behind their Chaz militarized zone, and you can see them. Look at them. They're all getting riled up. They're ready to make their big charge into battle. This is their ride of the Rohirrim. Okay? This is what they've been waiting their whole lives for. Oh, here they go. Look at this. Okay, I want to point something out first. Okay, see the guy in front? He's like, "Come on, guys, let's go." These people back here don't have quite the gusto, but the dudes up front do. And what happens to the dudes up front? Dude, watch this. Watch this. Watch this cop. This cop could have lowered the boom on this dude. He felt so bad. He's like, "What am I supposed to do? I've got this little kid running at me. I'll just push him over." Just shove him over. He's like, he's not even like trying to like beat him up. He's like, "Come here, dude." He's like, "Come here, stop it. Just stop. Just stop doing what you're doing." And guess what you're doing now? You're going to jail because you assaulted a police officer. This is what happens when you live most of your life or all of your life without any consequence whatsoever. This is what happens when you are never held accountable for your actions at all. When you are constantly given a trophy. When you are given extra credit just for doing what you're supposed to do, like show up. This is the result of being spoiled. This is their parents' fault, right? This is their parents' fault, to be sure. This is what happens when you have no consequence and you think that you can fuck around with anyone, and then you found out. You're really going to find out now because this motherfucker is going to go to jail. What do you think would happen if that were someone like me? Like if I were running and screaming at them, I would have been shot. But like I said, that cop was just like, "God, I can't hurt this little child person." Like, seriously, if you see like a dude who's like 5'5", 120 pounds, soaking wet with rocks in his pockets, sprinting at you with a trash can, like, "Let's go, boys. It's time to stand up for the Palestinians." Like, what do you're sitting there going, "What do I do?" It's like, I'm not gonna, what do I just trip him? Do I just grab the shield and throw him to the ground? No, that's all that police officer did. He's just like, "Ugh. God damn it, kid." I can't believe we've gotten to this point. The mental disconnect and the mental gymnastics that you have to do to convince yourself that this was a good idea. Think about that. They thought about this. They not only thought about it, they got the trash cans and carved them into shields. And then organized up like they were riding into battle. Think about how fucking stupid you have to be to think about that, to actually go through this whole thing. Think, lay it out, and nowhere along the way of going from A to B to C, nowhere along the way did you go, no, maybe we shouldn't do this. This might be a bad idea. You thought this was a logical thing to do. Like, what did you... There's no way he thought he could have won the charge, right? Like, the battle. There's no way. Like, how delusional and disconnected do you have to be? Is this the result of reverse testosterone? Fucking wild, man. All right. I think that might be where we end it. Let me check real quick. Oh, hold on a second. Did you see this guy? Did you see this Asian guy who went into court with blackface? I don't know what's going on here, but this Asian dude went into court with blackface, and we can listen to him. Let's listen to him. I think this is him. Come on.
Now this
Okay, let me check the volume real quick. That should be good.
kangaroo court is giving me a life sentence for me trying to protect.
Okay, so let me preface this, and then this will be what we end on. I'll preface this. This guy, apparently he got cut off in traffic on the freeway out in California. So he cut off the other people, who was like three guys, and then they got out of the cars and everything. And I guess he attacked those three guys, and he like stabbed one, and I think he might have killed one of them. But he basically assaulted three guys who like cut him off, and then he cut them off, got out, road rage incident.
Now this kangaroo court is giving me a life sentence for me trying to protect and defend myself against the attack from three guys. In essence, treating me like a black man. And today, the reason why I'm like this is because I prepared myself to play my part in your kangaroo court. Treating me like a black man, so today I'm going to be a black man.
You want to say anything further, Mr. Char?
That's about it, I guess, for now. Oh, also, I asked this kangaroo court to put a stay on my sentencing pending my appeals. And who's going to do my appeal? Now this kangaroo court is giving me...
Okay. So there's an Asian guy wearing blackface. And what do you think his cellie was thinking, right? When this guy is, I don't know, maybe got some shoe polish, or maybe he got a bunch, he must have got a bunch of ink pens and just drained them all out or something, I'm guessing, and then just... What do you think his cellie was thinking? And you know his cellie is probably a black guy. And he was thinking, what is this crazy Asian motherfucker doing? And you don't stop him, you know. You just kind of go, okay, good luck. Anyway, I think we're going to stop it there, guys. I got to go run some errands. Got to get the day started off outside of this crazy internet world that we are in. But thank you so much for being here. If you liked what you heard, please hit the like, the subscribe, little notification bell thingy. I'm working on the Rebel Moon 2, the Scargiver breakdown right now. It's scene by scene. I'm going through it. It's coming along very well, and I've actually thought about putting out like a 2 or 3 minute preview this week. So follow on Twitter. I'll post about that. And yeah, hopefully I'll have that out. It's taking a while. It's probably going to be a very long video. So, but it's coming along very well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making it this far. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. I sure enjoyed I enjoyed doing this show, guys. Anyway, until next time, please take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and never stop telling stories. Have a wonderful weekend. Get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. Take care, guys. See ya.